This is Don DeBartolo, a senior commodity broker and market strategist with Daniels Trading in Chicago. I'm also the trader behind the Trade Spotlight advisory service. Trade Spotlight is broken into three segments: futures, commodity options, and future spread. So it's three segments all in one advisory. This is Beyond the Spotlight, a video that will spotlight two or three markets that may become trading opportunities for this week. This week begins with Monday, April 12th, 2021. Please pause the video and read the disclosures to understand the risks involved with futures and commodity options trading. Jumping right into the first chart, this is the June 2021 E-mini S&P contract. And I have two trend lines drawn off in this market, sloping upwards, creating an upwards sloping channel. And you can see that the market recently has made a new contract high, touching the top part of the sloping channel, and perhaps this is a place where the market can pull back. You can already see this is my stochastics indicator, that is a momentum indicator, that is showing that the market is overbought and it's starting to lean towards the downside. So perhaps building some downside momentum in this market. So what I'm looking for is a pullback in the S&P. Down to the center of this range where there's a 20-day moving average just below the 4,000 price level at 3,983.05, or perhaps even to touch this lower trend line that comes in probably just above the 3950, I'm sorry, 3850 price mark. So perhaps that can be a target. So I'll be looking for an opportunity to sell this contract. Right now the trend is still up. Obviously we've had a nice rally here going back to the end of last year, November. They had the rally, and then since the market has been trading higher with some lows on some big sell-offs, and perhaps we can have another one of those here soon. So a break of one of these recent lows may set up a trade opportunity to the downside. Stop loss would go above this upper trend line, depending on where I look to sell the contract. And then, of course, I mentioned some of the downside targets already. Even the 38 price level, there's a bunch of potential support down in here that can be a nice downside target. Could look at options for this trade opportunity as well because of the volatility in the S&P market. Okay, the next chart I want to take a look at is the July 2021 soybean oil futures contract. I have an ellipse covering these two lows, and this lowest low is 48.10 from March 31st. A break of that pivot point low would trigger an entry to the downside. However, my momentum indicator, this is my stochastics, is already past the halfway point, showing some strong downside momentum. I'd rather see the market bounce off this 50-day moving average at 48.95, trade back up, so my momentum indicator hooks back up and then rolls over up in this level. That would make for a stronger breakout. That may not occur. We may break the 50-day moving average and this pivot point, tomorrow or Wednesday, and not sure I would get on board just yet based on where the momentum indicator is. So something to keep a close eye on. My trend indicator is showing the start of a downtrend here after some sideways trading action. If the market were to bounce up in here, a good stop loss can be above this pivot point high. If there's a setup right here. Otherwise, if we're taking out this low, that might be too much risk to take on. Maybe some of these other recent highs of just above 51 would act as a nice potential stop loss. Downside target, I'd be looking at the 40 level. Obviously, that's quite a bit a ways down there, but you saw we had this big rally in February. I could see April, the market coming right back down to where we were in those late January, middle of January lows. So let's keep the July 2021 soybean oil contract on our watch list for this week. Let's take a look at our third chart today. This is the June 2021 live cattle futures chart. I have the beginnings of a head and shoulders formation set up. The left shoulder is this pivot point high. That high is 122.40 from the 16th of February. Market sold off, rallied, actually traded back near that same level, then had another pullback, then rallied again, but this time creating a new 12-month contract high that was just put in last week. That high is 125.62 and a half from April 8th. And then the last 3 sessions, we've had a big sell-off. We broke this lower trend line. We just closed above a 20-day moving average today. So we could potentially get short here before this full formation is set up to see if the market trades down into this 118.50, 116.50 price target. There's also an 89 moving average at 117.80 right in the middle there. My momentum is strong to the downside. The trend is flipping over to a downside trade. So with the close of this trend line, we can actually take a short entry opportunity. I may look to do that here, depending on how the market finishes up today. May look to take a trade tomorrow. So pay attention to that. An email for the June 21 live cattle futures contract. Otherwise, we'll be patient, wait for the market to pull back into here, and then create that right shoulder, and then take that long-term selling opportunity. Here's a look at what the Trade Spotlight Advisory Service looks like going. This is what the Trade Spotlight Advisory Service looks like directly to your inbox. You got the timestamp. You've got a write-up of the trade, the entry order, and stop and target, so you know the precise risk and reward potential for each trade. Any important information like margin requirements, and then you can click the chart to enlarge. If you're not following the Trade Spotlight Advisory Service, I encourage you to do so. I provide a free 90-day trial offer. Just go to the Daniels Trading webpage, click on Advisories, and under Technical Analysis, you'll find Trade Spotlight, where you can read more, read the recent posts, and then click the orange button to subscribe. If you have any questions on the 3 charts that I detailed today, or just trading in general, feel free to reach out. Here is all my contact information. Thank you for taking the time to watch and listen, and happy trading.